Well, welcome to the Cinnabar. Now, as much as we love Cody, there's just no place like home. And we just happened to be back for a short visit that coincidentally coincides with deer season out here. So we've had some success in the past with some deer hunting videos. This year I had some success harvesting a nice buck, but the filming didn't go as well as planned. I understand the shortcomings of trying to hunt by yourself and film, and I just trying to use this little GoPro camera on a headband here. I just messed up a few times during the most important parts of this hunt and missed some of it. Actually had it in photograph mode rather than film mode, but anyway, I almost didn't put this thing together when I got it back to editing, but decided, well, there's at least some good shots of some scenery, there's a few deer, and then you get to see at least the aftermath of an awful good hunt on a nice buck. If you watched our episode here last time we were back at Cinnabar, we took a few shots with this 1894 set trigger pistol grip gun in 25-35, and we went back and developed a real nice load for it, took out the rear barrel sight and put on this reproduction MVA Tang peep sight that's an exact reproduction of an early marble sight, and just really love it. So anyway, we'll show you a pretty good hunt. We ended up stalking 4 bucks and got up to a shot that I really was pretty confident in, and just ended up shooting right over his back, and fortunately got another chance at him and made a heck of a shot, and of course didn't get it on film, sadly. So if you want to stick around, that some of it's a little frustrating because we missed the good shots, but we've got some nice scenery and a few deer, and you get to see a pretty nice buck that we took here on the Cinnabar. So right off the bat, as we're getting started here, there's a couple of little bucks going right up the hill right there. Looks like about a forked horn and a 3-point maybe. First thing opening morning like this. They're just probably not the size we're going to be looking for today. But it's a good sign. We just barely got in the gate here, and we've got a couple of bucks to take a look at anyway. I was really hoping there might be a little bigger one in the bunch. And there's our little friends again. We've come up around the corner here, and those same 2 young bucks that we saw coming up through the gate. We're just following them up the mountain now. Well, let's continue up the hill and see if we can't find something a little bigger. Okay, so it's time for a little glassing. We've got a big area out in front of us here that can hold a lot of deer. And we're just starting to see the sun poke up over the mountains. So we're gonna do a little glassing here. And sometimes you can sit here for an hour and not see anything, and then all of a sudden something will feed right out of that brush and present itself. And I think I see the backside of a deer right over in that area right there. I'm going to set this camera up on I got a headband for it, and do a little glassing on that guy. And yet, just as I pulled up the glasses, I seen him going over that little ridge right there. And he had horns, but not much. So unless he's got a buddy, he's not terrible interesting. And just left of that lone pine tree out there, there's a doe and a yearling. If you saw last year's hunting video, that's the flat just beyond where they're at that me and my nephew got really pretty nice bucks. But don't see a buck hanging out with her. It's a little early for the rut yet to get the bucks interested. Now another beautiful spot to glass. One of the issues we have now is our deer herd isn't what it used to be. You know, our federal government in their infinite wisdom reintroduced, or I should say introduced, this invasive, massive Canadian gray wolf back to the lower 48, and you know, we've got a pack of them that ranges down here onto the ranch, and last I heard there was 11 wolves in that pack, so you can imagine the game that they do away with on a yearly basis. That coupled with the fact that years ago Oregon outlawed hunting cats, cougars, with dogs, and now our cougar population has just exploded. So this predator worship that we seem to be embracing these days has really decimated the game herds here, and it's even worse in other places here in the West. There's a group of deer going right into those quaking aspens right over there, but I haven't been able to put any horns on them. Now I've just been sitting here glassing in the pickup, and I just look out in front of the pickup and there's a little buck, spiked buck, just wandering up to the pickup, and look over here and there's another little feller just wandering this way, both of them little spikes. He isn't maybe 30 yards out there. He might have some little forks. Now it's day 2 of hunting season, and we're at Hunter's Point, a different part of the Cinnabar. It was originally settled by the Hunter family, and in fact we're standing right here at the original homestead site. This rock wall behind us is kind of the border of the yard here. Unfortunately it burned in '47. But this wide open country up here, and it's going to be a challenge with this open-sided Winchester, because typically it's pretty difficult to get within, you know, 100 to 200 yard shot. So it might take a little luck and hopefully maybe a little skill in stalking to get within shooting distance if we see a buck. Now our camera gathers pretty good light, but the sun hasn't come up yet and we're just getting light enough to shoot. So let's head on up the hill and see if we can find something. Now we can see the sun just popping up over the coglands out there. You can see some of this wide open spaces around here. Down in the bottom there where the homestead is, there's a stock water well. Brings in a few deer and a nice grove of quaking aspens down there that are starting to turn yellow. And you see a bunch of young ponderosa pines we replanted after a fire about 20 years ago, and they seem to be doing well. But what we haven't seen quite yet is a deer. But keep the faith, I'm sure we will. Now just pulled up to this next vantage point, and a couple of ridges over there saw a group of deer, and just got the glasses on them before they disappeared around one of these nearer ridges. And there are 4 bucks and 2 mature bucks in the group, 2 younger bucks. Now this is going to be kind of a challenge, pretty open country, but we do have a lot of terrain that we can use to try to stalk them, but it's going to take a while and try to guess where they're going to be when we get to them. The other issue is going to be we're looking right into that sunrise, but the wind is coming from them to us, so we really have to approach them looking into the sun. And then, as I say, try to guess where they're going to be when we get there. So let's head on back down the hill a little bit and start in on this stalk. This will be a challenge for sure. Now the topography of this area was created when there was a massive ancient landslide that flowed down through here. And we're on just all these little dips and arches and boulder strewn patches through here. So we're going to try to use this terrain to our advantage to try to sneak up on these deer. Now, I'm going to have this GoPro here on my headband, and we'll try to take you along with us and show you the stalk, and hopefully we'll catch up with those old fellers. Well, as luck would have it, I got my second chance. Those bucks had dropped over into this next pocket over here, and I just happened to look over, and they were just about to the top of that next ridge over there. I'd put that shot at probably 250 yards. This old Winchester got it done. It kind of redeemed itself, or I guess maybe I redeemed myself a little bit after missing him at a whole lot closer. But boy, it was just one shot and he dropped. Just beautiful. Let's go check it out. Okay, so I've come back with my rangefinder because I just wanted to find out how far that shot was. And you can see on the far ridge over there, there's a big boulder, and I was standing right near that when I shot this buck, and right here's where he laid. And exactly 250 yards. That's amazing. That's what I had guessed, and I'm usually not quite that accurate by any means. But heck of a deal. You know, I stalked that buck and got right where I wanted with him, had a nice rest and just flat missed, and then did a second opportunity, 250 yards offhand with no rest, and one shot and he was down. Well, I hope you enjoyed at least parts of today's episode. I promise if we do any more hunting videos, we're going to fire that cameraman, me, get somebody maybe a little more competent, maybe even get a telephoto lens so we can get those deer up a little bit closer so you can see the action a little better. Well, thanks for joining us today. We're heading back to Cody tomorrow, and we'll have some good gunsmithing videos posted real soon. Until next time, happy trails from the Cinnabar.